So they are the players who are already through. All of those guys who've lost, as I'm sure you know, are still in the US Open, but they'll now have to win a match in losers qualification round. And lots of other matches to update you on when we get a moment that are in progress in winners qualifying, including the defending champion Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, who's off to a good start against Mickey Krause, but we'll tell you about all that in just a moment. So next up, it's Skyler Woodward against Alex Pagulayan. And when we saw the lineup for this winners qualifying round, Jeremy, this was one that really jumped out at us.
Yeah, absolutely. Skyler, who has shown some real good form this year, making 2 semifinals and major events, and of course Alex, who showed us some form earlier in the year, hasn't shown us quite as much of late, but he's a busy man trying to get his business going on the other side of the world, but he's played good here so far, and he's had a nice win or two, and we'll see what happens in this match. I'll tell you another big name out there that's in a fight, Fedor and Nicholas De Leon. I tell you, Nick's a dangerous player, super talented, and I think he's starting to realize he can win with some of these matches. They were knotted at 5 here just a moment ago.
Yeah, 5-all on table 18, and that's one of the matches we'll be keeping you up to date on in terms of the scores. So much to follow. Action going on everywhere you look here at Harrah's on this Wednesday at the US Open. And Skyler Woodward will get things started here.
Good break off there, and I was really concerned because the first couple breaks for Skyler, a lot of times, of course, a little adrenaline going and whatnot, he gets a little amped up, maybe gets a little quick. Very good sign there for the USA side of this match.
Skyler Woodward, 30 years of age, ranked number 15 in the world, which might seem surprising when you consider how much he's done this year. Not just in the big events, as you were saying, Jeremy, but he's also picked up a lot of points in tournaments of a smaller nature here in the US. But when I tell you that at the start of the year he was down at 41 in the world, well, then it makes more sense. So huge strides forward in 23.
Yeah, I'm not sure where he's going with the cue ball exactly. There are a lot of obstacles to kind of dodge. So trying to utilize the 9-ball. And it's real close if he got there or not.
Alex Pagulayan coming to the table, 45 years of age. He's at number 62 in the world, but there's no way there are 61 better players around than Alex Pagulayan. And you alluded to it there. He doesn't play a full schedule in all these big counting events. If he did, there's no doubt about it, he'd be much higher than that.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'll tell you what, it's getting closer, though, as far as the number of players that are at that level. And, you know, some of the score lines we saw are a little lopsided, right, in the winners qualification. You know how pool can be, but I think even here the pockets seem a little tougher. So I think that can separate even the top tier from one tier down. And it can definitely become mental. This is the biggest title in the game for most of these players, and they all want it.
It's a title Alex Pagulayan has already won. 2005 was his year. He had already been in the final 3 years before that.
Yeah, and these pool players, you think they don't want it. There's 4 or 5 of them on the practice tables that just qualified and are into tomorrow. Don't have to play anymore today, but they're right back out there tuning in their skills as much as they can. And speaking of practice, Alex was here when I arrived this morning at 9:30, knowing he wouldn't play till 1 or 2 o'clock.
Well, I know he was up early because I was down getting coffee at about 6 this morning, and Alex was walking around full of energy as ever, no matter what time of day it is.
Yeah, well, he's back in the Philippines, you know, residing most his downtime, and again, some business opportunities back there, so maybe fighting a little jet lag still.
Yeah, he's been waking up at 3 a.m. He actually came here from Thailand, where he's just been on a week's holiday.
Yeah, no excuses there, though. Alex is definitely a warrior. Pound for pound, maybe the greatest we've ever seen.
Yeah, born in the Philippines, moved to Canada when he was a teenager and became a citizen there in 2012. I'm not sure Alex, though, ever really stays in the one place long enough to even register where he lives. He's always on the go somewhere.
Yeah, well, I think his, primary family still resides. Oh, my. And that's where he gets a little, the backswing gets even shorter at times, got a little quick, and now kind of pushed the cue ball with that right English. The deflection got him there, and a little fortunate that 7 got away from the pocket. Now Skyler, who missed his first safety, has to play another here. And here you try to come off the right side and wrap the corner, bring the cue ball down, trying to get behind the 8, knowing you're going to leave a very long, tough shot if you miss. Looks like he's going for the long rail bank. So a couple ways to look at that. He's a great banker, especially under pressure, one of the best. But he did miss that first safety. Maybe that had something on his mind. And the way I would have looked at it, though, is Alex just made a big mistake. So maybe go for the safety, leaving some kind of long shot if you don't get it after Alex, missed a pretty duck 7 ball here in game 1.
Well, I think if you wanted to explain to someone the term let off, you'd show them the events of the last 90 seconds or so. Really bad miss by Pagulayan just when he looked to be cruising to the opening rack. But straight back in, and he leads Skyler Woodward 1-0 in this winner's qualification round at the US Open. So much to tell you about in the other matches. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, defending champion, 3-0 up against Denmark's Mickey Kraus. Woo Kun Lin, world semi-finalist this year with a 7-4 lead over former US Open winner Ralph Souquet. Robbie Capito of Hong Kong has won the first couple of racks against Wojciech Szewczyk of Poland. Corey Jewell, 2001 champion, just ahead of Omar Al-Shaheen at 4-3. Carlo Biado, the winner 2 years ago, got within a rack of the final last year. He's won all of the first 4 against Dennis Graba. Tyler Steyer, one of the leading American players, 5-1 down to Sanjin Pelovanovic of Bosnia-Herzegovina. Fedor Gorst has just won the 11th rack to lead Nicolas de Leon 6-5. Alban Ocean, two-time world champion, has taken the opener against BJ Ussery. Chris Reinhold, former Mosconi player from the US, 2-0 up on two-time world champion Torsten Homan. Imran Majid still going strong in his 50s. He leads Mieszko Fortunski by 4 racks to 1. World Masters champion Ko Pin-Yi sitting pretty at 6-2 against Sullivan Clark. It's 2-all between Honasuto Camino and Lu Ri Teng. Jason Shaw, the 2017 winner, 7-5 up on Jeremy Sosei. Chang Yu Lung cruising 7-0 against Tom Stavely. 3-all between Khalid Al-Ghamdi and Alex Kazakis. And just getting started, Oscar Dominguez and Kang Lee. Victor Zielinski has won 9-7 against Finland's Kim Laaksonen.
Yeah, nice break off there, a little action on the 9. See that often. The cue ball zigzagging across the spot area. And it seems Sanjin Pelovanovic has brought his best for this third match on the qualification side. Tyler Steyer, who's been in great form, probably his best form. It's going to take one heck of a pool match to have him down 6 or 7 to 1.
Well, Pelovanovic actually had a really good 2022. He didn't get to the very final stages of any of the big events, but he did well in pretty much all of them. And then we saw him play so well in the Premier League in Leicester back in the spring. Well, we might have been expecting a bit more from him since then.
Yeah, it's tough sledding out here, though. Even if you're in form, you have to have a little bit of the pool gods on your side. And, of course, your opponent, they could be in a little better form. And Sanjin could have got that gold medal at the World Games last year. Really, I feel outplayed Filler in the final. Just let a few things go. And another one of those super incredible talents at a very, very young age. All right, a tough push out. All the balls very open. Kind of wondering where he might go with the cue ball. Knowing he's playing a very savvy player, of course, Skyler, who kind of understands all the shots and the situations, and almost had to be something here on the bottom cushion with the cue ball for the push out.
Skyler Woodward, semi-finalist at the UK Open just at the start of summer in London. And then was in such good form at the Spanish Open, as highlighted by his 10-0 quarter-final win over Ko Pin Yi, who had just won the World Masters. And he didn't really perform in the semi-final against Deng Junhui and lost that one. Went out quite early in the European Open, last 32.
Okay, this is going to leak a little bit, but you know, in that spot, and as the levels get higher with the players and their calibers, you have to take on that shot if you're Skyler and try and, you know, go for the aggressive safety with the two behind the pink. Now, sometimes it'll cost you when you don't get there, but I think, you know, we're seeing more offense and more aggression on the offensive side of things. I think you got to do so on the tactical side as well. Probably just bleeds the cue ball to the rail behind the 8-6 here. Like that. Oh, he's overhit this as well. Left nothing easy. Going away from the 3. Probably banks the 2 between the 3 and 7. Goes to the right side rail, killing the cue ball down behind the brown 7. Real natural here. He's got the purple to work with as well. Now, he went aggressive on that bank, and the thing is, you know, when you look at it, it always says if the safety's harder than the shot, but you always want to reward with a tough shot, and I think the safety's the play here. Looks like to me he's going to cue up, though, and try and power this ball in. He's going to try and stun 2 rails towards the spot area with the cue ball. Yeah, what a shot. Oh, I really like what I just saw there, and I'm not talking about the shot he just knocked in, but you know, a lot of players will get on with the next shot. He just really took his time there, kind of turned the page on that great shot. Just like a miss, you got to kind of regroup. And that ball came a long ways, and he'll be lucky. Yeah, he's going to get a little funny, kind of straight. And for your viewers, you would say, man, this is a nice position, but not so nice to get on the next ball. It's a real good touch, cheating the pocket and the speed control perfect.
In addition to those performances I was talking about in some of the biggest events, he's also been in the final of 3 smaller world ranking counting events here in the States so far this year. Most notable of those, the Turning Stone Classic back in January. He was 12-6 down in the final, raced to 13 against Jason Shaw, but managed to get back to 12-all before losing it in the last rack. At the final of another tournament not long after that, where he lost to Billy Thorpe in a match that went on till nearly 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and this rack here, after that incredible shot on the 2 ball, he's just been an inch or 2 out of line with the cue ball. So I don't know, is he going to pull this 1 rail back across for the 7 in the lower left? Oh, he cheated it nicely. Calm stroke there, and I'll tell you, looking at these scores, these Americans are really showing a lot of heart. Jeremy Sosi back at it, 7-6 down now to Jason Shaw, 6-6 with Fedor and Nick De Leon.
So nicely done by Skyler Woodward, and he levels with Alex Pagulayan at 1-1. Woodward, as we know, has already clinched the first automatic spot on the American Mosconi Cup team. Shane Van Boning very strongly placed to have his spot confirmed by the end of this week. But if he's to win a record 6th US Open title this week, he's going to have to take the scenic route, because he was beaten earlier today in winners' qualification by Marco Teucher. And I believe we're going to have a look at that now. Yeah, here he is. 2016 was the last time that he won it. That equalled the record of 5 alongside Earl Strickland. He's been trying since then to get number 6. But that was a significant moment in the rack that Teucher was looking for to complete victory. And from there, the Dutchman saw it out to win his match, and afterwards we caught up with him.
Marco, firstly, congratulations, a massive win against a top player in Shane Van Boning. How did you play out there today?
I wouldn't say it was the best match. I made a lot of mistakes into the match, and yeah, I think I was happy with the win. I mean, we both didn't play great, but it's just what it is sometimes, you know.
And you told us off camera just now, a couple of days ago, that we had a bit of an incident outside of the event. Do you mind sort of telling us a bit more about that?
Yeah, like we were just, I finished the practice session and finished around 3 a.m. And on the motorway, we just honestly, we're just driving on a 4-line motorway, and someone hit us with 150 kilometers per hour just in the back, in the middle of nowhere. So it's unbelievable. I mean, yeah, I'm lucky. I had my seatbelt on, and we're all okay. But yeah, I've been to the hospital and got it all checked out. I'm lucky I don't have too much, apart from like a lot of muscle pain and like just feeling sore. But yeah, it's like.
So an eventful week for Marco Teucher, and as I was saying earlier, Jeremy, he won that event with world ranking points on the line in Australia recently, but probably this is an even better memory for him, beating the great Shane Van Boning at the US Open.
Yeah, absolutely. And Marco, I've seen him play exceptional pool. I've seen him play incredible in Vegas in a few tournaments, and you got to respect a guy that comes that far for these events. I always talk about Matt Edwards having that trip from down under to all these major events. I'm surprised Matt's not here, to be fair, but good to have Marco, and what a win for him.
Yeah, and I can tell you about another winner. Wu Kunlin has beaten Ralph Souquet, former US Open champion, by 9 racks to 4.
Okay, taking a lot of time here on this first shot. Made me think he didn't have a shot, but yeah, the rail speed is the one that so far has been a little alarming for Skyler. The last rack out of position quite often. You know, not a ton, but a little bit here and there. Yeah, and even though only a foot from the 3 and the 3 some foot and a half from the pocket, I don't know if he really has an offensive play. Okay, he's going to try and come near the pocket, the side rail, end rail, and up for the 4 in the right middle. Yeah, he's going to want to hit that thick. Is he going to get a little fortunate? I don't think so.
Pagulayan, former US Open winner, as I was saying. He's also been world champion in 2004. And in that case as well, he had previously been beaten in the final. Just the year prior to that, in fact. He's won the World Masters as well. Beat Mika Immonen in the final 15 years ago now.
Yeah, a little close to his work here on the 3, and the 4's near, which is good. The 5's the real problem up the table. I don't think it offers either one of the top corner pockets on your screen. So going to have to play some type of nice position behind the purple. Always one of the best players with the bridge. Played a lot of snooker there in Canada.
I think that was part of the reason for his trip to Thailand. He was Trying to find someone over there who had a snooker cue that he particularly wanted to get his hands on.
Oh, I know he played a little bit of Chinese 8-ball lately, going over to China for 1 or 2 of those events. Is that going to be enough? That may be over the 6, making this a very awkward shot into a very difficult side pocket.
It's often the case, isn't it, in both snooker and pool, that the best players at that implement, or the rest as it's known in snooker, they tend to be the shorter guys because they're more used to using it. One player who's always renowned for his rest playing snooker is Jimmy White, who isn't particularly tall.
Yeah, and it's funny, you know, it's all about your upbringing. And in Houston area, whenever I started playing pool, you didn't have to, you could get on the table. Of course, there was a lot of gambling. It wasn't like real tournaments and whatnot, so you never really used to learn the bridge with the bridge so much. And I was a tall guy and decent left-handed, meaning I could make the shots I needed to lefty. But I'll tell you, once you start fooling with the bridge, though, you kind of appreciate it, and you can actually do a lot of things with it. It's a hell of a tool. Alvin Ocean on the Matchroom Multisport YouTube channel. You can watch that table too. It's just broken game 4 with a 2-1 lead over BJ Ussery.
Yeah, Ussery's the guy we were talking about earlier, who doesn't play in many events of this sort of level, but has been accumulating points in some of the smaller American events this year, putting him in contention for the Moscone, to the extent that he's going to go to Hanoi for the tournament there in a couple of weeks' time, where the automatic places will be finalised. Alex Pagulayan is going to go a rack clear for the second time in the match. He leads Skyler Woodward 2-1 in this race to 9. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, the defending champion, has just gone 4-1 up on Denmark's Mickey Kraus. Robbie Capito of Hong Kong now leading Wojciech Szewczyk 3-0. Omar Al-Shaheen 1 ahead of Corey Jewell at 5-4. Carlo Biado very much on top against Dennis Graba, 6-0 there now. Sanyan Pelovanovic still going well, 7-2 now against Tyler Steyer. Fedor Gorst has fallen behind. He's lost the last 2 racks to Nicolas de Leon, who now leads 7-6. Chris Reinhold and Torsten Homan are level at 2-all. Imran Majid 6-1 up on Mieszko Fortunski. Kopinyi leads Sullivan Clark 7-2. Honasuto Camino has a 4-2 lead over Lu Ri Teng. Jason Shaw in a real battle with Jeremy Sosay, 7-all there. Chang Yu Lung on the hill at 8-1 now against Tom Stavely. Alex Kazakis with a 5-3 lead over young Khalid Al-Ghamdi. 1-all between Oscar Dominguez and Kang Lee. So right up to date.
Yeah, Jeremy Sosay showing a lot of heart. Trailed 7-3 in that match with Jason Shaw, and they both know each other real well. Sosay from here in the upper northeast, and of course plays Turning Stone and a lot of big events in this area. Really, really fine player. Yeah, and you talked about Imran, right? I think Imran at 50 plus years old, or 50 now, I think he's playing his best pool. And you know, before we get to the final stages, you know, when the shot clock comes in, he's played as well as anyone. Imran's just got to get a little more used to that shot clock stage of the event. All right, I mean, look at the other rail here. I mean, you could kick the 2. Actually, kicking 2 rails underneath this, going towards the 8 with the cue ball. Let the 2 go upward. You want to hit the bottom of the 2 here, really. That's the best way to attack this. You hit the top. That's okay. Should get separation.
Speaking of over 50s, as we were there a minute ago with Imran Majid, I saw you hitting a few balls on the practice table there with some of the guys. And I remember you saying earlier in the year, Jeremy, that you might play in this to mark the 20th anniversary of your US Open win. So why did you not? Was it just a case of not having the time to prepare?
I think if I, wouldn't have got the captaincy job, I would have definitely played. I just had the same kind of situation a few years ago as an assistant captain, where I played real well against one of the players fighting for points and a place on the on the team, and then I played another player, and I played real poorly, you know. And so it's just kind of a funny situation. So I just kind of decided once I got that captaincy, I'll let the guys go at it. But I sure do want to play with these conditions and, of course, the U.S. Open. And just to be out there with all these greats.
So is it reasonable to expect we're going to see you out here again at some stage?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. More important to me, though, is we win in December. We win in December. I can sit on the sidelines all year, every year.
With a big cigar in your hand.
Yeah. All right, nice hit there, trying to keep the cue ball on the bottom end of the table. The two's going to come out, but like I said earlier, at least you're making him earn it to a tough upper right corner.
The man who'll be trying to stop you winning is Ralph Eckert of Germany. He's here as well. You've been talking to him?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've known Ralph. He used to come to Texas and stay 3-4 months at a time with one of the greats that's ever played from Texas, Bob Vanover, and learned a lot from Bob. I think Bob was, his mentor. And so we used to actually compete against each other on some regional tours back in the day. And, boy, don't let Ralph fool you. I haven't seen him play in a while, but back in the day, he could run out playing 9-ball.
Yeah, we're actually going to have Ralph joining us in the commentary booth for a match tomorrow, so we can have plenty of Mosconi chat with him then.
And I'll tell you, if you ever want to learn anything about Ralph or just get to know him, and I'm sure it's out there and you can find out, but go back and watch Thorsten Holman's Hall of Fame induction. He was the man that had the speech for Thorsten, and it was one of the best ones I've ever heard in my life. I'm talking about all sports. You could tell how much he loved Thorsten and loves pool, and he really showed his wit in that speech as a one of a kind. All right, a little fortunate on the miss here, and the kick very difficult with not much space between the 5 and 8. So he's going to have to spin this quite heavily. And when you have to do that, you can't hit it very hard. You got to ignore the 5 going up table here, or else the cue ball is going to leak. It has to be at a light speed. Yeah, he got in there too deep.
Chang Yulong, who came here in good form, having just been to the final of a strong event in Connecticut with world ranking points on the line, is through to single elimination after beating the British player Tom Staveley by 9 racks to 1 in the last few minutes.
Yeah, I don't know. Is he trying to go with inside English to go past the 6 here? I don't think a straight high ball gets you there. Yeah, I think I would stay underneath this 6. I understand it's a bit more difficult of shot up the table, but of course these players are at the table and they see those little angles much better than we do. Okay, he got past it.
And having done so, he will absolutely feel he should go to 3-1 here. As you were saying earlier, JJ, he showed some great form right at the start of the year, had 3 wins over Joshua Filler, 2 of them at the World Championship, where he eventually went out in the last 32. Played really well in the Premier League. Almost got to the semi-finals there. Finished in 5th place. Last 32 of the UK Open as well, and played for Canada in the World Cup with John Morra. And they were level at 4-all with Germany, looking for a place in the quarterfinals, and then the Germans pulled away to 7-4. And with that, Alex Pagulayan does indeed lead Skyler Woodward 3-1 in the early stages of this winners' qualification match. 5-1 now for Francisco Sanchez Ruiz over Mickey Kraus. Robbie Capito leading Wojciech Szewczyk 3-0. 5-all between Corey Jewell and Omar El Shaheen. Dennis Graba has at least averted the whitewash, but still a long road back against Carlo Biado. He trails 6-1. Sanjin Pelovanovic only looking for one more. Be no great shock if he was to beat Tyler Steyer, but I don't think anyone would have seen it being as one-sided as that. 8-2 at the moment. Totally different story between Nicolas de Leon and Fedor Gorst, and it's turning into one of the matches of the tournament so far. They're level at 7-all. Alban Ocean 3-1 up on BJ Ussery on table 2. Chris Reinhold going well, 4-2 against Torsten Homan. Eshko Fortunsky has got it back to 6-2 down against Imran Majid. Ko Pinyi 7-3 up on Sullivan Clark. Hona Suto Camino leading 6-2 against Lu Ri Teng. And this is Jason Shaw, former winner of the title, potting the 9-ball to win the 16th rack and take it hill in what's been a great tussle with Jeremy Sosay of the US. More matches going on in losers qualification. Konrad Yusashin 2-1 up at the moment against Mark Beisterbosch. And Mario He straight back into action, leading Badr Alwadi 2-0. 3-1 to Pagulayan.
All right, he's getting those kisses down by the corner. That's what's getting balls down on the break. The one's missed again. Now a huge separation between the cue ball and that one. So even though he can see it, he may see a push out coming if he doesn't like it. Now he's a long ways away, and the problem is if he pushes out, most likely Skyler takes it. So I think he's got to come off the right side of the one here, go at the 2 with the cue ball. He went for the bank. It's going to be close. Wow, what an effort. Little fortunate the one got a little away from the pocket, and maybe Skyler can't get at it. And how Alex thinks, especially more these days and with the tough equipment, is he wants to make it more of kind of a grind match. You know, as much tactical as possible. And, you know, that's a great mentality and it works a lot. But really, that's not going to win you the tournament very often. But what he thinks is, let me grind until I get as comfortable, you know, get to that comfortable state. And then I'll start to switch gears a little bit. I've seen a lot with Alex, and I think he's still in a little bit that grind mode. Well, this is a difficult one to take on, especially with not much reward. 3-4 combo, not easy. I think I come across this 2-ball, real nice swerving this ball to get at the 1. I think I come across this 2-ball and float the cue ball down behind the 3-4 maybe, I don't know. All right, he's coming all the way down. It looks like Alban really in tune with what he's doing over there, and I think he recognizes and knows how good a player BJ Ussery is, bringing the A game there, Alban Ocean.
Yeah, Ocean leading 4-1. Not been his favourite tournament this, the US Open, in terms of how he's done at it. Obviously he'd have it as a big target in his career. Well, probably the biggest now because he's been world champion, so the next thing you obviously want to do is win the US Open.
Man, he's one of those types of guys. We know he hasn't had the year he wants, but he can sure shine at any moment. I think for all these players, you know, the way the schedule's set up with some events prior, some ranking events prior, even though they're not as big as the US Open, that sets them up for their best pool here in America. I tell you, Skyler's got to batten down the hatches with opportunity here. You can see a little confidence in that stroke there from AP.
He's just such a joy to watch, Pagulayan, because you can see he's putting every last drop of effort into it, and his body language to tell us exactly what he's thinking at the outcome of every single shot. Oh, well, whatever he's thinking about that one, it isn't going to be pleasant.
Yeah, and that's just pure physical there. I mean, he's not going to feel the nerves on a shot like that. That's just something that broke down on the physical side of things. And again, now Skyler with an opportunity really has to come with it. He's going to use the 8 to hold the ball. Much better stroke there, a little calmer.
Talked earlier about how he's already guaranteed to make another Mosconi Cup appearance. It's an event he's become synonymous with. You think of all the great players who've played for the US over the years, he's the only one ever among those to be MVP in consecutive years.
Yeah, really incredible performance those 2 years, and I'll tell you, there was incredible performance by many Americans on those 2 teams, or in 18 and 19 when Sky won those MVPs.
In the second of those years, he did the double MVP and clincher of the winning point.
Yeah, a little off with the timing at the moment. Kind of laboring a little bit through these racks, but figures to settle in the more the balls go in.
It's a bad miss from Alex Pagulayan early on in the rack, and the pocket he missed into is the pocket into which Skyler Woodward deposits the 9 to get back to one behind at 3-2. Yeah, let's have a look at that Mosconi Cup situation. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz already into the European team. Fedor Gorst has moved ahead of David Al-Qaedi once again now after his recent success in the States following Al-Qaedi's win in Germany. So Gorst leading the race for the second place on the European team, which will be confirmed this week. Eklund Kachi there at number 4. We're not sure what the situation is there because he had that accident a couple of months back. It looked at the time as though that would rule him out of Mosconi contention. But now we're hearing that maybe he may be back soon. Shane Wolford currently in 3rd place in the American standings. Shane Van Boning will probably be confirmed at the end of this week. But boy, what a tussle we could have in Hanoi between all the players vying for that 3rd spot on the US team. Woodward has already clinched his place. He's back to 3-2 down here.
Well, the break's on point. Like I said, just get a little better with the timing. Kind of like what you see here in the opening of rack number 6. Little funny here on this opening shot. He's got to play and make a good decision with the 3 ball. A little straight here. I think the 3's a little tight going by the brown 7. Went into the ball knowing could get a little bump. That's why there wasn't a whole lot of speed. Looks like he's got to kind of stun by the 6 and come 2 rails out to the center, maybe like a middle right English, like a light stun. I think there's enough angle. I think if he flirts with a high ball, he could have issues. Yeah, I don't think rolling off this ball gets you where you want. I think it's got to be more, like I said, a light stun. He could even go the side rail, in rail, and back up. That one's I think a little flirty for position. Yeah, that's got to go a little bit. That's got to go. Don't think he got there.
That Mosconi appearance that he's already secured will be his 9th, putting him solo 6th on the all-time list. From a US point of view, he currently shares 6th with you, Jeremy. He's going to move ahead of you now, on to 9.
Oh, he can't get any of this ball? I thought he could at least get the top side, maybe to play a safety. Gonna leave a nice shot for Alex and a real natural angle to roll down to the bottom rail and up for the purple 5.
Are you keeping an eye on that Sean Sosay match? I've been looking around the hall trying to spot it.
Yeah, I don't know where that one's at.
8-all at the moment, of course, as we were saying, so we cast our eyes around the hall to try and have a look at it.
Well, I'll tell you how good Jeremy is, though. Super solid, consistent player. Rarely, really falls off his game. And he's a player, like I said the other day, I talked to him many times the last few years about how much he's going to play and is he going to be able to make any of the bigger events. Just a type of player that would set up good for any doubles play in the Mosconi, and you know, if he got comfortable out there, could sure win some points. I think Chris Reinhold is an American to watch here at the U.S. Open. Watching him practice and talking to him a lot throughout the year. And I think his mind's in a good place and his game's even better.
Can't believe I've finally mentioned a match that you're not watching. If I'm having a game at my local hall, I expect to see your eyes popping out somewhere.
Well, that's from having bets on all the tables from back in the day. So I had to know which player to give a little pep talk to, maybe, or go get a soda for, whatever it may be. All right, a little straight. Wants to make sure he doesn't get any kind of extreme on the 7. You don't want to make the 7 a missable ball. The 8 so playable. So I'll probably just draw back, kind of stun draw towards the 8 a little bit. Yeah, like that.
So he's made a couple of unexpected mistakes, but overall Pagulayan looks to be playing pretty well so far here, and there's a chance to restore that 2-rack lead.
Yeah, it's been a small handful of errors for Skyler so far to start this match, and it wouldn't be one thing or another, just misposition a little bit. Missed a couple shots, they weren't easy.
Alex Pagulayan has had so many wins over so many very good players over the last 20 years or so. He's had his share of them in 2023. And he's got every chance of adding to that list here, because he now leads Skyler Woodward by 4 racks to 2. Jason Shaw has come through that hill finish against Jeremy Sosay. Shaw, a 9-8 winner, also victory for Fedor Gorst. He was involved in a very close one with Nicolas de Leon, but finished strongly and has won by 9 racks to 7. Totally different story for Sanyan Pelovanovic. Very comfortable one against Tyler Steyer, winning by 9 racks to 2. Here's what's going on over on table 2. Albin Ocean has now stretched his lead to 5-1 over BJ Ussery. As we keep an eye on this, I can tell you Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, the defending champion, is 2 racks away from single elimination. He leads Mickey Kraus 7-2. Robbie Capito 3-1 up on Wojciech Szewczyk. Omar Al-Shaheen just ahead of Corey Jewell at 7-6. Carlo Biado, the 2021 US Open champion, leads Dennis Graba 7-3. Chris Reinhold just ahead of Torsten Homan at 5-4. Mieszko Fortunski really charging back. He's close to 6-4 against Imran Majid. Kopinyi on the hill now against Sullivan Clark at 8-3. Honasuto Camino 6-3 up on Lu Riteng. Alex Kazakis on the hill at 8-3 against Khalid Al-Ghamdi, although that one's now just gone 8-4. And Kang Lee, who's been one of the revelations of this week, 4-1 up on a member of last year's American Mosconi Cup team, Oscar Dominguez.
Yeah, Kang Lee is steadily trying to improve his game, and he's done so. Can't fluke by some of the wins he's had this week. And I'll tell you, the break has been on Skyler's side so far. Just needs to start taking advantage of it. Now another push out coming from Alex Pagulayan. Yeah, and really difficult with the 3 over the corner. You could roll out to something long and tough, but again, usually that's going to be a shot that doesn't offer much of a reward for the incoming player. But I don't know what he does here. He may have to roll out to a kick, roll out down by the 3, somewhere like that.
Now there's a moment. Just look to your right there, Jeremy. 10 US Open titles between those two guys having a chat. Earl Strickland and Shane Van Boening.
Yeah, I was watching over there a minute ago, and if you know those two, of course, they talk so much, but Shane gives them that same smile a lot, like, I love you, even though I know you're crazy, kind of thing.
Yeah, Strickland practicing for his match on the loser's side against Tolian Han, part of the Singapore team, got to the World Cup final last year. Of course, Van Boening is on the loser's side now as well, after his defeat to Marco Teucher. He'll be playing Pier Francesco Garcia.
Yeah, and I mean that in the best way, the crazy, just a fun, crazy kind of thing. And the crazy I like is that, 62 years old, Earl still really likes to be involved. All right. I don't think he's going to get this back. I think he'll shoot the rail first or some type of safety. I think the rail first is okay. I don't think he can pass this. Yeah, great shot, and really good thinking it through and recognizing to hit it kind of mild really overall and just take what the table gives them. Not losing accuracy on the rail first shot. Now it looks like he can float out to the center where he can reach it, giving himself enough angle. He's going to go 2 rails to the center, which is fine. Now he can hit this with a little high right, coming off the bottom rail, the left side rail right before the side pocket, and then kind of coast up table for the purple 5. And these types of shots, I mean, you're trying to win, right? But also, if you not want to be conscious of it, but realize those types of shots are the ones that are going to start to get the stroke a little more comfortable. Shots with not as much pressure.
I think it's been a feature of a lot of the matches I've seen him play this year anyway, that Woodward hasn't actually started that well, but once he gets more and more into the contest, the focus seems to move up a level. And he just starts playing better and better. Needs it to happen here because Pagulayan, as we know, has had the better of it so far. And a chance to get back once again to just one behind, which now he looks just about certain to do.
Yeah, he's got to respond because Alex is prepared and breaking the balls pretty well. Just a little unfortunate there. Had to push out.
I was saying there how Woodward will now be 6th on his own after this year's Mosconi Cup in terms of all-time appearances for the Americans. So for today's quiz, Jeremy, and this is a pretty easy one for you, who are the 5 ahead of him?
Okay. Of course, Earl. Johnny. All right, well,
Johnny Archer, yeah, who tops the list with 17.
yeah, well,
Just while you're going through that, I can tell you this is Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, the defending champion, who's 7-2 up on Mickey Krause. So yeah, Strickland with 15, Archer with 17.
let's go. There's 5 ahead?
5 ahead, yeah. Woodward on 9, so there are 5 who have got into double
Corey
figures.
Deuel.
Yeah, he's played 11.
Rodney Morris.
Yeah, he's got 10.
And,
Well, look to your right, Jeremy.
oh, SVB.
Yeah, exactly.
SVB. I would have got
Yeah.
that. I was going through my little checklist.
Yeah.
I put a lot of pressure on myself with those things. I feel like I'm on the clock.
Van Boning will tie the record with his 17th appearance. 17 in a row as well later this year. Not confirmed on the team yet, but the safest bet in the world that he will be. Now this is BJ Ussery, as we've said, has emerged as an unexpected, perhaps, contender for a place on the US Mosconi Cup team. He's out there playing Alban Ocean, 2-time world champion. The Austrian firmly in control at 5-1, but Ussery trying to make some inroads into that here.
Yeah, BJ really had a nice out to tie it up at 1 apiece. And then just let a little couple things get away, and Alban's played real solid. Oh, he's going with a high ball with inside. This is one tough shot here. Bringing the cue ball all the way around. Really stroked the ball nicely. He's going to be happy with that one.
Francisco Sanchez Ruiz now leads Mickey Krause 8-2. So FSR on the hill, and so is OAS Omar Al-Shaheen. 8-7 ahead of the 2001 US Open champion, Corey Deuel.
Yeah, and BJ, you know, without knowing him real well, you know, when I watch him play, I get that bulldog feeling. He's kind of showing a little bit of grit right now. After a few struggles early, and definitely a deficit against one of our game's best.
Yeah, he's not widely known, as I was saying, on the international stage. What part of the States is he from?
He's from the Carolinas, North Carolina, which has produced a lot of greats through the years. Of course, Earl Strickland.
So the man from North Carolina is looking to produce a late rally here. 5-1 down to Alban Ocean. He's pulled one back. Little geographical joke for you there, Jeremy.
Yeah, I got it. I wonder how many out there did. That was a good one.
State capital, of course. Let's look in on table 7. And Alex Kazakis. Well, he knew he'd have his hands full against Khalid Al-Ghamdi, who was the winner of the SVB Junior Open here in Atlantic City last year. Big things expected of him, but Kazakis in control here at 8 racks to 5. Former World Masters winner.
Yeah, and just one of the hardest working players, and I've always said it. I knew he'd be a good player, but I just didn't realize how good he'd be when I first met him, and I watched his game, and of course I saw some talent and whatnot, but it was right here at the U.S. Open, actually, when I first saw him down when it was in Virginia, and boy, he's worked his tail off and has earned every accolade and every dollar that he's been able to accumulate in this great game. I'm sure one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Yeah. Well, again, the break has been great, and he's producing shots. So if you went just by the break, you would think Skyler had the lead. It's just been a few little fumbles after the break that has kept that, but now he's in position again.
Certainly echo what you say about Kazakis. He doesn't talk a huge amount, but when you go and talk to him, he's always got a nice smile and a chat for everyone. And of course, he had a great win here last year. It was he who knocked Shane Van Bonen out in the last 64. Went on to get to the quarters. And this is table 7. Back to Kazakis here. And this is for the match against Khalid Al Ghamdi. This to complete a 9-5 win.
Yeah, now Gandhi, who's a youngster, but a really fine player, so this is pretty impressive.
So Kazakis, who came within 2 racks of a place in the semi-finals here last year, having been to the semis of the World Championship earlier that year, is through to single elimination and now waits to see who he will face. The draw will be done tonight.
Yeah, better there, and it's hard to tell with Skyler because he's got a little quicker tempo anyways, which is, you know, everyone's tempo's what it is and what's natural for you, but when he just gets a little quicker, that's when he has issues. Looks like he's trying to pull this ball by the 8.
It was Francisco Sanchez Ruiz who ended the campaign of Alex Kazakis here last year, on his way to the title. And FSR looks to be on his way to the final 64 here. He's been in control throughout against Mickey Kraus, won all of the first 3 racks and has never really looked all that troubled since then. He leads 8-2. And these look like being the final moments of that one.
I think Skyler's kind of calming the stroke down a little bit just with his pace around the table. I think it really has a direct effect. He's not forcing it. I love it.
Well, just when he looked to be stepping things up, I don't think anyone saw that coming, least of all Woodward himself.
No, big surprise there, and really start to look like he was getting things in shape, and I didn't really see anything. Sometimes you just miss, you know, and these pockets are awfully tough. Now, the one thing I will say is Skyler likes to stun the ball a lot of times when he's going forward in those kind of situations, but really hard to question the decision. Just didn't go.
Yeah, sometimes when the ball is left right over the pocket like that, the player coming to the table then has a bit of a positional difficulty because you never know what the ball's going to do coming in and out. But of course, with the 8 sitting where it was straightforward from a positional perspective. And this is pretty routine as well. So look for all the world as though it was going 4-all. Instead of which, Pagulayan for the 3rd time in this match leads by a couple of racks. It's 5-3, and you can tell how furious Woodward is with himself over throwing that one away. Here it is again. He won't want to see it.
Yeah, and it didn't miss by much. And the problem I have now, of course, you know, love Alex and not really rooting one way or another. I want to see a great match, but you know, I want to see the Americans in the best form as possible. But Alex has broke the balls really well. Just unfortunate, the last ball creeping over the cue balls made him push out a few times. I kind of feel like he's going to break well again and maybe come away with a shot this time.
Omar Al-Shaheen, World Championship runner-up a couple of years ago, will be back tomorrow. He's beaten the former US Open champion Corey Jewell by 9 racks to 7. And the World Masters champion of this year, Ko Pin Yi, a 9-3 winner over Sullivan Clark. And Clark will now go through to losers qualifying, where he will play Gerson Martinez, who of course we saw on the main table earlier, coming through a hill finish against young Eric Roberts. The not so young Alex Pagulayan leads 5-3.
No, and just as I said, he took a little speed off. I don't think it was intentional. Why would he? He's been breaking the balls well, and you could kind of just see the one dribble off the rack a little more. Not as much speed, and the cue ball got lost in that same side pocket. Now, kind of looking at the 8, I mean, that's something to think about, of course, but I don't think it's something you're really going to fool with now, even if there is a problem. And the 6 and 7 are pretty near, so disregard that. Got to knock these first ones in. Funny on this first ball. I think he overran his position just a hair. So now the only thing he has to pay attention to is cue ball having a little more speed as it goes by the 3, and make sure you don't get awkward cueing with the pink 4. Should be okay because Skyler has such good touch.
Just want to keep you on top of what's happening in losers qualifying as well. Mark Bijsterbosch is up against Konrad Yusashin. Now, they are two players who would both feel their US Open had gone below expectations if they didn't make the final 64. And at the moment, it's Bijsterbosch, who came within one rack of winning the Spanish Open back in June, who leads 6-3. Darren Appleton, two-time winner of this title, 2-1 up against Georgi Georgiev. Bezar Spahiu of Albania leads Si Cha Chen 3-1. Mario He, looking to bounce back from his defeat on the main table, leads Badr Alawadi 6-1. And Ko Ping Chung, who was your pick for the title, JJ, 2-0 up on Radoslav Babica. It's last chance for all of those players if you're beaten in losers qualifying. And that is the end of your US Open adventure for this year.
Yeah, so I think between the ears, Skyler's doing everything he's supposed to. You know, going through the routine a little bit, checking his work. He's just got to finish at the end of these racks. He's breaking the balls really well also, so a couple games, not that big of a lead, and it looks like he's gotten straight. May have to take the 8 upstairs somewhere. And I wouldn't force it. I mean, you want the short pocket, but man, looks like he's just really in a good position to just kind of stop his ball right there to take the 8 up to the top left. Yeah, cue ball looks perfect.
Well, left one in the jaws of the opposite top corner in the previous rack.
Yeah, he thought it was in.
I've seen this before. I think we saw it in his defeat at the European Open as well. And he starts talking to himself and maybe gets himself into a bit of a mental rut that he then finds it hard to get himself out of again.
Yeah, there's that ball hanging you were talking about, Michael, that's so hard to predict with the cue ball, even for the best players in the world.
This to lead by 3 for the first time in the match. Well, that never looked in from the moment he made contact with the 9.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Skyler kind of baffled by that 8 ball. And it's funny, if we had the stats on this match, balls pocketed may be in Skyler's favor, even though he trails by a game.
Well, what a huge difference that makes. At 6-3, Pagulayan can see himself as a very firm favourite, instead of which there's only 1 in it, all because of that miss on the 9. So let's look over to the practice tables and 2 of the greatest of all time. Earl Strickland, 5-time US Open champion. 1984 was his first win. 2000 was his last. 7 years later, Shane Van Boening won it for the first time, and in 2016 he tied Strickland's record. And there they are, working away on adjoining tables ahead of their matches later. And just remarkable to think they've both won it 5 times. Neither of them has ever lost a US Open final.
Yeah, well, not many finals, period, have they lost. That's what the greats do, and that's how they accumulate, you know, just rarely lose in the final. I don't get the sense that Skyler's really feeling a lot of pressure out there, you know, knowing him pretty well. So maybe just a little baffled by a few things. Maybe he picks up a little speed going around the table now. I don't know. He's got a tough shot here on the blue too, I'll tell you. It looks like if he hits it well, he may catch a little sliver of the brown 7 with the cue ball. And if he doesn't, he's going towards the 5 and 8 with the cue ball. So a hard ball to shoot at.
And we were talking about Strickland and Van Boening. Jason Shaw's joined in the conversation now, so 11 US Open titles between them over in that corner.
I think this is going to leave a little gap. If not, a pretty easy jump shot. Yeah, many players over here practicing, and some have already qualified, but not taking any chances, trying to get the stroke and everything as tuned in as possible, the break shot.
Well, the thing is as well, there aren't that many practice tables, so while there's one free and available and you've got the chance, you might as well take it and get some work in.
Wow, he's snookered here, so he likes his chances coming across to make it. Very easy kick to hit and from the other side. So big decision there. Could have went to the right side rail and just absolutely guaranteed contact on the blue 2. But just and decided to go for the make.
Skyler Woodward probably won't be able to believe it if he gets to 5-all when you consider some of the mistakes he's made and the balls he's missed.
Yeah, that 4 is a little funny hanging. He's got to get pretty proper on the 5 with that black 8 kind of impeding there. And the 6 ball back up the table. So he'll knock the 3 in the side, try and come down the left side rail somewhat with the cue ball. That way he doesn't involve the 8 when shooting the purple 5 to get on the 6. But this is that ball hanging you were talking about that could be pretty tricky, and here it got away from him a little bit. He's going to have to go short side on the green 6 up the table. And I don't even know if that's offered. He may have more angle to where he's going into the 8, and if that's the case, you may have to really unload with a high ball. Okay, he's going to catch a little piece of the 8, hoping to continue to draw the ball off of it. Oh, sweet stroke, avoiding the 8.
When we had those 2 weeks in Spain in the middle of summer, I had a lovely chat with Skyler at the bar one day, and you know he's such a friendly, down-to-earth guy, and he was talking about his son Daxton, and we were talking about fatherhood and being away from the kids, and he was saying how being a dad has become such a distraction from the game for him, but he meant it in a really positive way, and that he feels it's actually helped his game, that he has another big focus in his life and a way of just switching off from it all when he gets back home, and certainly shown in his consistency of performance and results over the last number of months.
Yeah, Dax is an awesome kid, and of course Ashley, big support group for for Skyler back there in Lubbock and really all over America. He's a very, very well-liked player and loved player throughout all the fans. And easy to pull for, like you were saying, just a real down-to-earth guy.
And somehow, despite everything that's gone wrong for him and everything he's done wrong in this match, he's level at 5-all. First time he hasn't been behind since it was 1 each. Let's get some scores. Robbie Capito 6-3 up on Wojciech Szewczyk. Albin Ocean now 6-2 in front of BJ Ussery. Chris Reinhold just keeping his nose in front of Torsten Homan at 6-5. Mieszko Fortunski has really changed that match against Imran Majid. He was such a long way behind. He's now level at 7-all. Honasuto Camino on the hill now at 8-5 against Lu Ri Teng. Oscar Dominguez and Kang Lee, that's a close one as well. That's 4-all. Now this is table 3. I believe this is on the loser side. Ralph Souquet, former winner of this title, just starting against Abdullah Alenzi. Mark Bijsterbosch has won. He's beaten Konrad Yusashin 9-3. That's on the loser side, so Bijsterbosch through to the final 64, but Yusashin bows out of this year's US Open.
Yeah, I talked about it in Spain when Bijsterbosch made that run at that Spanish Open. What a final. What a semifinal and final we got to watch him play. I think it was a Buddhist that he beat in a hill match there. And I said that, you know, Bijsterbosch likes this US Open. He always has, no matter where it was played. Virginia, that year I think he was in Vegas, but I think he did pretty well last year here. I think it was the final 32 or 16, so he's a player to watch out for, trying to climb some rankings. All right, good speed control there, and really the shot of the rack, it looks like. Maybe the 5-6, but it's going to be a little complicated.
I remember when he lost that final in Spain, obviously none of us were going home. Those of us who were involved in one way or another in the World Cup the following week, which of course he was with the Netherlands. And Niels Feyen, who he was playing with in the World Cup, said, come on, let's just go and hang out and enjoy the next few days while we're waiting to start the team event. Well, if there's one thing that is going to serve you well to try and get over a massive disappointment, it's a few days with Niels, because he's just so relentlessly positive and full of excitement and ideas. And I know Mark really appreciated all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the best things of those finals is, you know, they had some of the greatest shots you ever seen, and then they had a few mistakes, but boy, there were smiles from both players, and they were just loving that final. Dang and Bijsterbosch, something special. The Spanish crowd was incredible.
Oh yeah, with that atmosphere, absolutely.
All right, just got to stay away from the rail. Just a little angle on the 6 to come back down. And you're starting to see a little what you talked about, Michael. Skyler starting to settle in a little more as the match moves on.
And it's a match he may well lead in a few moments.
But he knows, you know, of course, trying to get the W no matter what, but he knows really to win these events. You may get away with starting slow in a match or two early in the event, but as you move on, you got to shore that up.
Okay, starting to play nicely now. Remarkable to think. What was it, 10-15 minutes ago? Looked like he was going to be 6-3 down. And now Skyler Woodward leads at 6-5. You know, just talking about that Spanish Open and the World Cup and the great atmosphere we had in Lugo, one man we have to mention is David Gutierrez. He was the master of ceremonies there, and he was introducing the players in wonderful style, and the breaks that we had every few racks, he was whipping up the crowd. And it's a real job that you just cannot bluff your way through, and a good MC can do so much for the atmosphere of an event, and David certainly did over those couple of weeks in Lugo.
Yeah, and he was a pleasure to talk to away from you know, his job there in the arena. Just all real positive the entire week, and I really enjoyed Lugo, I tell you.
Skyler Woodward knows, as we all do, that he's good enough to win a title of this stature. If he could pick one, as an American, it would almost certainly be the US Open. He's 3 racks away from making it through to the single elimination stage.
I tell you, the break's getting better and better, it seems, and he's almost had a shot every break. Got to take advantage of these. Not easy. There's a lot of congestion. Little angle going away off the blue, too. Looks like he can float it in and hold for the 3 in the opposite side pocket. It's obvious he's going to have to get to the right side rail after shooting a pink 4. And that should get him an easy shot on the 5 or a real good look at it. And then be able to get to that green 6 up the table.
Just keeping an eye on events over on table 2. BJ Ussery looked like he could be heading for a really heavy defeat there against Alban Ocean. And he's battling on well. He's back to only 6-3 behind, and he's at the table with a chance in the next rack, as you can see here.
Yeah, like I said, the feeling I get, and I think a lot of people agree with me, is just that bulldog mentality, never giving up. You know, I'll tell you what, we're not even commentating that match, and we can sure get him from nowhere.
It's amazing, you know, we joke about it all the time, but it's happened so many times, you and I, over the last 24 hours or so. The more we big someone up, the more likely they are to do something like that.
Yeah, I don't know what the mental part of that is. Oh my, this ball really came out on him, and he snookered it as far as the make, it looks like. And you can see pretty upset. He's going to have to kind of calm himself down and try and make a nice shot at a very crucial time in this match, leading 6-5. I think Alban's starting to have a few struggles over there as well.
Yeah, he's on the 4, but horrible bridging over the 5. So that rack is not a done deal yet.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, if he can't get at this ball how he wants, because the safety you can see not that hard with the 8 and 9 near. It's just a matter of what he can get at. Oh, really nice. Really, really nice. Very committed stroke on that safety. All right, Alex will try and kick 2 rails and come across this ball. If he can come across it, the cue ball should kind of bleed down towards where he's standing now. Could come 3 rails behind it, but you're really involving the green 6 if you do that. So we'll see where he aims. Yeah, that looks like the 2 rail angle. Just a rolling ball with a little right English. Oh, he hit it hard trying to come behind it. So a small error from Skyler on the position play, but a very good recovery on the safety and a rare missed kick from Alex.
Looks like being 4 in a row then for the American. Not quite job done yet, but promising situation, particularly the way he seems to have stepped it up the last couple of racks. Meanwhile, Ocean has just played a 6-9 combination to go 7-3 against BJ Ussery. There was a lot to regret from that rack. Had a good chance to win it.
Yeah, I don't know about this. He got a little straight. So what happens is when you lay off a little bit, the ball kind of bounces off the 6 a little. I thought he wanted to come more straight at the 7. That way he guaranteed the angle to be able to slide over. Now he's got to make a decision. Do I go forward, rolling to the short side, or do I draw the cue ball all the way back up to the top rail with speed, bringing it back down for the black 8. Yeah, that's what he's going to do, I think. I kind of like that myself. You know, just make a good stroke. Should be able to draw the ball one rail back up by the left side. Not only that, Skyler really excels at this shot.
Been a really good finisher of matches in 2023. Some of the matches he has lost have been quite comfortable. So in other matches when he's had a chance to win, he's been pretty good at making that charge for the line. And it looks as though that story is repeating itself here, because having been 5-3 down and a ball away from trailing 6-3, Woodward now leads Alex Pagulayan 7-5. Not sure we gave you the final result on the match involving the champion of 2 years ago, Carlo Biado. Either way, I can tell you he's beaten Dennis Grabo of Estonia by 9-4. Still half a dozen other places apart from this match to be decided in the final 64 from the winner's side. Robbie Capito reasserting himself 7-3 now against Wojciech Szewczyk. I told you about Alban Ocean going 7-3 up on BJ Ussery. Chris Reinholds 7-5 ahead of Torsten Holm, and 7-all now Mieszko Fortunski and Imran Majid. Honasuto Camino leading 8-5 against Lou Ri Teng, and Kang Lee just ahead of Oscar Dominguez at 5-4. And this match we're looking at here is over on the loser's side. Mario He is 7-2 up on Badr Alawadi. Now, as you know, of course, most of the losers' matches have been race to 8, but when you get to losers' qualification, it's race to 9. Back to the main table.
Yeah, and you mentioned a player's name there. But I've just fortunately got to watch practice quite a bit this week. Robbie Capito, and a guy that we all know is a super big talent. Looks pretty calm on these tight boxes, and could be someone to be reckoned with.
I was talking earlier today to Wayne Griffiths, Welshman, who's been such a part of the Hong Kong Q Sports project, as it were. So he's here with Robbie. Wayne, the son of the 1979 World Snooker champion Terry Griffiths. Won it the very first time he ever played in it.
Boy, that's the heart that Alex has. Made a few mistakes, lost the big lead, or not a big lead, 2-3 game lead, and knocks in a tough one ball. Doesn't have much angle here. Type of shot you could force it a little bit, and just got to recognize here the 4's not too tough, so you can take a little distance on the 3. So I wouldn't get ahead of myself trying to really jam this 2 ball in, trying to get a little closer to that red 3.
Just going back to that previous shot that you commented on there, goes back to what we were saying, I think it was yesterday, that his nickname, the Lion, it's got to be the most appropriate nickname in all of sport, because not only is it the second half of his surname, but he's got the heart of a lion as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's been attached with this man since about 19, I guess. He showed so much heart through the years.
Let's just agree to not say anything nice about any player for the rest of the day, Jeremy. It's happened again.
Yeah, it's just, tell you, when you're stunning the ball, you have to be really on point. Any flinch in the stroke, these pockets are going to show it. Now Skyler in a great position to extend that lead. You got to watch out. This may get a little thin here. Now the good thing he can see is the 6 is near the hole, so getting on the 5, you don't have to be perfect.
It's a bit more back to the sort of thing that was happening to him earlier in the match. Okay, so this is a chance Pagulayan has really got to take, you would feel.
Yeah, and he's got to gamble a little bit maybe with the cue ball. Come on, rail kind of at the side. Looks like he's going to pull it underneath the purple 5. Really surprised that neither player has taken their time out yet. You know, both have been in position to try and regroup a little.
Honasuto Camino of Spain celebrating his victory there. 9-7, that one is now finished.
Yeah, I talked with him a little bit last night, and he seemed very happy with his first 2 matches. So, again, happy with the third, and we'll get into the final 64. Now on the hill on table 2. If you want to catch anything on table 2, it's the Matchroom Multisport YouTube channel.
Yeah, that win for Honasuto Camino was against Lu Ri Teng out in table 6. So the Camino trail continues in this US Open.
And you'll see if you're watching any of those live scores, some of those players waiting for opponents, right? Coming from this winner's side. Whoever loses has to go on to win one more match to get into that final 64.
Well, we said he really needed to capitalise on this chance after Woodward's miss into the side pocket. And he has done, so Pagulayan back to just 1 behind now. That's 7-6. It's also 7-6 in the one match still going on in round 3 on the loser's side. Roberto Gomez on the brink of going out of the US Open trails Pong Nam Pham of Vietnam by 7 racks to 6. Now this is over on table 2. We saw that bad miss from BJ Ussery a few minutes ago, and it looks to have been a really significant moment in the match. Alban Ocean has been firmly in control since then and is at the table looking to get the job finished. Player who came here really looking for a big week. It's not been the 2023 he would have hoped for by any means.
Yeah, he was trying to open the 5 and 7 there while the pink 4 was hanging. In disbelief, he got too much on the cue ball.
Far from certain, by the way, of his place on the European Mosconi Cup team this year, Ocean. Robbie Capito now on the hill. Sorry, JJ, at 8-4 against Wojciech Szewczyk, just to say. Also in winners qualification.
Love seeing that young talent really come into form, and Robbie Capito, so many others.
Well, another young player you'll be pleased to hear is going well. Chris Reinhold, who's been in 2 of your Mosconi teams. He's 1 away from victory, leading Torsten home in 8-6. And Mieszko Fortunski has really continued to turn things around. From 6-1 down against Imran Majid, he now leads 8-7. Kang Lee 6-4 up on Oscar Dominguez. All those matches in winners qualifying.
Yeah, well, you know, Chris, he had a long talk with himself. Kind of felt like he was spinning his wheels for a little while, so he took a little break. which, you know, I think is good. You know, a lot of players won't have the discipline to do that. You know, they'll just continue to not figure it out and just kind of hope things come together. And Chris made a plan, and he was kind of sticking to it. He certainly knows he should be out here playing the professional scene, and that's what he's going to continue to do. And I'll tell you what, he said he just took time to practice and get his game in the best position possible, and it's shown. Now Albin trying to make a real gritty out here. I wonder if he's going to continue to attack here on this green 6. Going for the bank cross corner.
Bringing you up to date on that match between Mieszko Fortunski and Imran Majid. The British veteran who had a massive lead saw himself fall behind, but he's found something from somewhere to win the 16th rack, so that one has gone hill-hill. It's only the second hill-hill finish we've had in the winners qualifying round. No, the third actually. Still not many.
No, and taking a lot of time on this one ball here, trying to figure out how to play position, really. Could kind of draw at the 2. I think that's your highest percentage play. You could accidentally knock the 2 in as well, drawing off the 1, but if he goes with a high ball, I really don't know if he's going to get any position to continue the run. I like the draw stroke. Yeah, I think that's what he was trying to do, but a pretty fortunate little roll there. It looks like he's trying to get at it. Maybe swerving the cue ball, kicking behind it. Yeah, can he do much with this? He's trying to hit the ball first, trying to get some kind of safety. He may have cut him off the make.
Chris Reinhold, who we were just talking about, has won. He's beaten the 2-time world champion Torsten Hohmann of Germany by 9 racks to 6.
And Thorsten, a former runner-up in this U.S. Open as well, 2004.
Now, this is that match I was telling you about, Mieszko Fortunski and Imran Majid. Hill-hill finish, and that's Majid at the table. As Pagulayan misses that one and leaves it in the jaws for Woodward. And a good chance for the American to get to the hill.
Yeah, and Imran just took the rack off the table, so that should be after the break, and it looked like he had a clean shot at the blue too. Nothing easy, but doable. Now talk about a funny shot coming out of the pocket. You're coming from the center of the table, rail first, really not much of an option. He's got to get the speed right to find a gap to get at the blue 2. Kind of slow draw this, kind of out in the position you're in now, I think. Trying to think if there's a more guaranteed way to get position. I just don't see it. Oh, he played that way. That's okay. And the thing about that way is you may not get position, but you're not getting snookered. So pretty smart shot. And he still may have a thin cut on the blue 2 to the lower left.
Well, if he could somehow cut in this 2 and get on the 4 nicely, you would think it should be a fairly straight run to 8-6, but with some of the mistakes and some of the balls missed in this match, I couldn't entirely take that for granted.
It's amazing how good at that shot he is. I've seen that one from that young man in the Moscone many times. Very similar shot. And talk about a shot that is very nervy, and it's soft with a little bit of spin.
Robbie Capito has won 9-4 win over Wojciech Szewczyk of Poland. So that means only 4 matches still going in this winners' qualification round.
Yeah, speed off there again. So, of course, Skyler labeled as a shot maker, and duly so, but I'd like to get a little better position than this. These will kind of wear on you in time. What happens here also, he's going to draw it 1 rail back over to the right side of the table, and needs to stay off the rail with the cue ball.
Let's look in again on table 10. This is Imran Majid at the table. He'll be so relieved if he wins this one. He was miles ahead against Mieszko Fortunski, fell behind at 8-7, but took it to a decider. That's 3 balls away from victory.
Yeah, no hanger on that 7, though. We know how tough these tables are. Skyler trying to close the door on this rack and get to the hill. 3-game lead, right, at this moment. 2-game lead, excuse me. Seems like a little more than it really is.
And Skyler Woodward has now won 5 of the last 6 racks. If he wins 1 of the 3 that potentially remain, he will be in the final 64.
Yeah, nice shot from Imran on that 7. Got to the short side on the 8. Got some options. A bunch of juniors and the parents starting to roll in for the SVB Junior Open here at the U.S. Open.
It's always sobering when you see these kids who can play so well, and then you see their dads and realise they're younger than us.
Yeah. A little reality sets in. So Imran to finish here. Albin Ocean the same on table 2, both with 9 balls to win.
Yeah, Albin Ocean has just knocked in a simple 9 to the side, so PJ Ussery staged a bit of a comeback in that match, but a bad miss when it looked as though he could get even closer. Handed control to Ocean, and the Austrian never relinquished it. So 9-3, Ocean is through. Ussery goes to losers qualifying. Imran Majid gets the job done in the end after that big comeback. And as 50-year-old Imran Majid clinches his place in the final 64, 30-year-old Skyler Woodward is left very frustrated by the outcome of that break.
Yeah, a kiss on the 9, and that's just part of it. The break rule we have, it's going to get lost sometimes. I was just going to say, I'll tell you, Skyler really tidies up a few things, the way he's breaking the balls. Serious threat in this U.S. Open, of course. Still work to do here.
Just keeping an eye on losers qualifying. Ralph Souquet 2-0 up against Abdullah Lenzi. Jeff DeLuna flying 5-0 against Wong Kwok Kwang. It's just gone 6-0. Darren Appleton, 2-time winner of the title, 5-1 now over Georgi Georgiev. Si Cha Chen got to the quarters last year, but is 5-3 down to Bezar Spahiu. Mario He on the hill now at 8-5 against Badr Alawadi. Ko Ping Chung, your pick for the title, JJ, 4-3 up on Radoslav Babica.
And I'll tell you, I'm sure DeLuna probably, after losing that winterside qualification, more motivated over there. But I watched Wong not only play a few matches, but practice a bit, and he just seems like he's struggling this week. We've seen it from the first match on day one. Is that enough speed? Okay. Yeah, you can see he's a little upset. He's a little short of his mark. I guess the 7 plays easily. Not much concern there, or not much look from Alex at that 7-9. Oh, oof. Definitely had a second glance at that one as it went towards the pocket. Watch this 5-ball just narrowly making on the very extreme right side of the hole. Now, is he going to get much movement here off the 7? Is he playing something off the 7, off the rail off the 7? Yeah. No real worries here. He can come underneath the 8, which I wouldn't do. I would just come above it 1 rail, but the 9 in a great position. And he's not so upset at the outcome. He's upset that he keeps swinging that way, kind of really hitting at the ball. That's why he's losing the line on the cue ball a lot, and probably hitting the cue ball with it as well. It's not going to cost him this 8, but what he's worried about is future shots.
And he's still got at least one future rack to play in this match, because Alex Pagulayan is still punching at 8-7 down. The only other match still going on now in winners qualification is all the way out on table 24. Oscar Dominguez and Kang Lee level at 6-all. Ralph Souquet in losers qualifying has gone 3-0 up on Abdullah Lenzi. Jeff DeLuna, who we were talking about there, who's been to the semi-finals of this US Open in the past, 6-0 over Duong Kwok Wang. Si Cha Chen has got one back against Bezar Spahiu, the Albanian now leading 5-4. Pius Labutus has been a semi-finalist in one of these big matchroom events this year. Leads Yuma Dorner of Germany 3-0. Mario He still looking for that one more. 8-5 up against Badr Alawadi. And Francesco Candela of Italy has a 2-1 lead over Emil Andre Gangflo, the steadily rising Norwegian.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see big things from Gangflo here in the next year or so. He's just doing all the right things from what I can see, and obvious improvement. I think John Lehman's a little nervous as well.
Oh, that's sweet, isn't it?
Yeah, especially when you ask for it. He said dress up one time, and they certainly have. Foot away from the 2 ball, the 3 near, so Alex with such a good cue ball, you figure him to get out here.
You mentioned Gangflo, and you're expecting big things of him in the future. He's had some fairly big things already this year. He was the young player who knocked Joshua Filler out of the Spanish Open back in June.
Yeah, I just like his progression, and technique-wise, I really love what I see, and just a really good dude as well. Okay, Alex has got to work the ball a little bit here. The 2-3's okay, but the pink 4 to the purple 5, that's the real work in the rack. And I'll tell you another one. You see the 9 kind of sitting over on that side rail, just past the side pocket. Those are never easy. Chinese Taipei contingent, I mean business. I don't think they've all made it through just yet, but the characters that you kind of assume to make it, they're all there. Ko Ping Chung still got work to do, but both Changs, Kun Lin's in there, Ko Ping Yi's in there. He caught the left side of the pocket. So that tells me I don't think you're going to aim like that. Probably caught a little thin trying to draw up the right side rail. So Alex, of course, has to stretch to reach this, and what kind of safety's coming, or maybe he cuts this in. Roberto Gomez, who was up against it a moment ago at the table and fighting.
Yeah, he's gone hill against Hwang Nam Pham. That's in round 3 on the loser side, so whoever wins that is still going to have to play one more match, which will be against Daniel Guttenberger.
Oh my. He went for the aggressive shot. You can't blame him because the safety was tough. What an unfortunate scratch that was. Look at this. Watch him catch the rail and then the 9 straight across on the side.
And that could all mean a fairly abrupt end to this one.
This isn't hard, but just make sure it doesn't get away from you. You don't have to be close to the 7 as you pass the 8.
I think sometimes we're a bit over-eager to point to a particular shot in a match and say it all swung on that, but in this instance I really think we can. Alex Pagulayan had a 9-ball to lead 6-3. He missed it. Woodward won that rack, proved to be the first of 4 in a row. We saw him take command of the match at 7-5. Twice since then, Pagulayan has got back to 1 behind. But it looks as though Woodward is going to get over the line. And once again, as so often in 2023, it's a match where we really seem to step up a level in terms of focus and performance as it went on. He's made plenty of mistakes in this match. They'll need to be eradicated if he's to win this US Open. But he's through to single elimination. He's beaten Alex Pagulayan by 9 racks to 7. So that means there's only one match still going on in winners qualification. Oscar Dominguez, part of the US Mosconi Cup team last year, leads it against Kang Lee of Korea, but only by 1 at 7 racks to 6. So most of the focus now on the losers qualification round, and that's where the action will be coming from when our coverage continues on day 3 of the US Open here in Atlantic City in just a few minutes' time.